Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. How you guys doing? Ay, 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 guys, ay, 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 guys. This match preview is not starting off in a good mood because well, Juve are winning, which means they're just 3 points behind us. But also the main news is that Brozovic is out of the match against Torino. It looked like all the reports were saying that he was being rested in training because they are pretty confident in getting him back for the Torino match. But we already know De Vrij is out, and now it looks like Brozovic is out as well. He's not even part of the squad, so he's not even on the bench. So they're literally not even called him up. And apparently, it's nothing serious. So there's nothing to worry about. It's still he's just feeling his cough, the same cough that due to which he had to come off again in the Liverpool game. But that is that's still hurting him. Apparently, still feeling some discomfort. So Inzaghi and his staff have decided not to risk him, which I think is the right decision. That you don't want to force him to play through the pain. You don't want to force it because then Brozovic is the one player in this team in the starting 11 that is really irreplaceable. We've seen that. So yeah, sorry that I started. Usually I start off with giving people a shout out, but I had to get it out of the way. Brozovic is out, but of course we're going to talk about who could potentially step in for him. And of course, we'll talk about Torino. I've got my screenshots ready for you guys to have a look at and predict the lineups, which obviously now have changed. No more Brozovic in there, so we'll see who's gonna step in. Of course, talk about Torino as well, because let's not look past Torino as well. And yeah, as mentioned, Juventus at the moment winning 2-0 away at Sampdoria. Peak Allegri ball going on at the moment. The first shot they didn't actually have a shot. The first goal was an own goal off a Quadrado cross. Second goal a penalty. Sampdoria have 7 shots. You've had 3, but they're winning 2-0. And at the moment, they're actually 2 points behind us. Juventus 2 points, not 3 points. So as everyone knows now, every single match is becoming a must-win match. There's no more. It's pointless saying it because it's literally you have to win every single match now. You haven't got another choice. But anyway, I digressed before we even started the video. Let me give you guys a shout out, whoever is in the house right now. Future Hendrix in the house. No Brozo. Yeah, no Brozo, bro. Edin, yeah, I just explained what's wrong with Brozo. Ahmed, bro, I told you I'm out. I don't want to be part of Hakan FC now. Anyway, I was Hakan FC at the beginning when he needed protecting, when everyone was criticizing him before he even bloody stepped, started to integrate within the team. Now he's integrated. He doesn't need protecting anymore. He's. I've never been a fan of the guy as a player. I said it from the beginning. I just don't. He's nice. He's a decent player, and he's done better than I imagined he would. But at the same time, I still think that's an upgradable position, unfortunately. So yeah, you can have your presidency of Hakan FC. I'll come in and out. Hakan FC. I am Nate in the house as well. Mattia, that's nice to see you once again on the Interworldwide channel yesterday. I thought Brozo was ready to play. If not, it's a solo all over again. Now, I think the Sassuolo was very much an overreaction. I think Brozovic missing there because the situations that we were caught in against Sassuolo, I don't know, in the goals that we conceded, I don't know what Brozovic would have done in those positions, because those were, we're losing the ball high up on the pitch, like the first goal was, and the second goal, Traore crossing it to the far post into Scamacca. Both of those positions, like Hakan losing the ball, maybe it was a foul in the first goal, but what would have Brozovic done there? And then Traore on this floating it to the far post, there was that miscommunication between who was playing left centre back? I forgot. Oh yeah, Di Marco and Perisic. So in terms of the goal that we conceded, I don't think Brozovic could have done anything. And in terms of the game play in general, we missed his control of the tempo for sure. But it was a Barella playing in that position who was out of form, Barella, and everyone else was awful that match in general. But let's not forget, we still created plenty of chances that game to return into the game. So I feel like that Sassuolo game was an exaggeration, and Barella last season against Sassuolo played really well in that position. He stepped in, and it was Vidal, Barella, and Gagliardini. It was a Vidal, Barella, Gagliardini midfield. And I feel like that Sassuolo team was actually better than this Sassuolo team because they still had Locatelli in there. They still had, Boga in there. They were under the Zerbi. They were, I think, better drilled than they are under Dionisi at the moment. So I think this whole, Barella thing has been a bit, the Brozovic thing against Sassuolo is a little bit exaggerated. I think even if Brozovic played that match the way that we conceded those chances, it would have gone in anyway. And I don't think Barella is like as bad. The problem is, if once Barella goes back into the defensive mid position, then who is the one that is the Barella? Then I agree that's a little bit of an issue. The guy stepping in for Barella is more of the issue, that we lose the dynamism of Barella. But I think Barella, if he steps in tomorrow against Torino, now that we're seeing he's coming back into form, I think if he is going to be him, which I hope, which probably is, I'd rather have Barella there than anyone else in there. So I'd rather, and I think he'll do much better there tomorrow. But of course, Brozovic, as I said, he is the irreplaceable kind of, really the key component of this team, where without him we do miss a B. He is the, the orchestrator, he's the maestro, he's the regista, whatever adjective you want to use for Brozovic. He is so key. Ready for more terrible tomorrow? Well, I'm watching some terrible right now with Juventus, but yeah, Juric terrible is very much a one to watch out for. What's up, Matteo? What's up, Victor S11? Julian says, let's show Bremer what the one and only FG Internazionale looks like. Yes, sir. Of course, guys. I'll put him in the thumbnail. Everyone, you've got homework tomorrow. I know we're watching Inter, but also let's think about the summer, what's going on in the summer. All the rumors are pointing towards Inter being interested in Gleison Bremer. So cast your eyes on the middle of their back three is the Brazilian fella. If you have not watched him play, I want you guys to have your notepads out ready to watch Bremer, see how he defends, see how he marks, see how he, covers space, see how quick he is, see how good he is on the ball. I want you guys to be on job, on homework, looking at Gleison Bremer very, very closely, because he is rumored to be Inter's preferred centre-back option for the summer, especially if we manage to sell De Vrij. And if we sell De Vrij for Bremer, in my opinion, is going to be a game changer, because he's a completely different defender from De Vrij. He is super aggressive. He's front foot. He will allow Inter to move their defensive line like 10-15 yards up the pitch, which you can see what probably Inzaghi wants to do. Progressive style of football that he wants to play. With De Vrij, you can't do that because De Vrij can't cover his back. He hasn't got the pace, but it's his style of defending in general is kind of back foot defending. He's a safe defender. He's very good at reading the game, covering the space, whereas Bremer is he's going in behind, chopping up guys from behind. But he's an absolute animal. We've seen him dominate, this season. We've seen him dominate Vlahovic. I've seen him dominate, all the top strikers in the league. I've seen him dominate Scamacca. I've seen him dominate all the big strikers in the league, all the best strikers in the league, man to man. That's how he plays. So make sure you guys are looking out for him. Mr. Jesus in the house, and Nerzuri NL in the house as well. King Darian in the house. He thinks it's going to be Gags. Let's see if it's going to be Gags. Again, if Barella plays at the Regista at the CDM position, then yeah, Gags, he can do the job for sure. But if I don't want Vecino, I don't want Gagliardini, I don't want Vidal to be playing in that position. Actually, out of the three, probably I would maybe put Vidal if we really have to. If you want to keep Barella high up there, I'd probably be willing to give Vidal a go in that position. Yes, Mighty Mao with Brozovic, it is very, very worrying. Crazy Inter confirmed. Mattia and his positivity as always. Been watching Brozo at Anfield compilations for 4 days straight. Yeah, beautiful stuff. Some of the ways that he played out of the press, Liverpool press, was beautiful. He definitely had a much better game this time around against Liverpool than he did in the first leg. The gritty from Morata was going. It was It was alright. It was alright. Moise Kean obviously taught it to him. I hope we don't use Brozovic as 6 before we lose 2 players, Brozovic and Brozo. Hakan maybe more suited. People, you can't just throw. I know people are thinking, because of how the, Ericsson kind of, experiment, and Hakan has got the feet to play in that position. But it's not just about having the feet; it's about reading the game. Hakan he's adding to his game, like the defensive side. We've seen this guy's been going in for tackles. He's been reading the game a lot more better. But it's a gradual process. You can't just throw him into that position and hope it works. So remember, even with Ericsson, it was a slow, gradual process. First, they was tested out in the Coppa Italia against Fiorentina in the quarterfinals. So a very heavily rotated match, and then he was played against Benevento in Serie A. Really eased in. You can't just throw him in against the high pressing Torino side and like, yeah, Hakan, do your thing, bro. Do your thing. It could happen with Hakan. He's got as we said, he's got the feet and he's got probably the football IQ to play that position. But it's a gradual insertion. Look how it's taken him a little while to introduce himself to the mezzala position. Now even taking him even further back, which we've seen him. He comes to pick up the ball deep sometimes, Hakan, and he's as that second regista. Sometimes as Brozovic is pressed too much, but it's completely different learning those movements and positions that Brozovic takes up. And I think Barella, he was sometimes Conte played him in that position as well. Inzaghi's played him. Remember, even in the last match against Salernitana when Brozovic went off, Barella came in and played in that position at the end of the match. So Barella knows much better the movements and the positioning in that position of the pitch, I believe. Brian in the house as well. As much as I understand people being upset that he's not playing, I always felt like he needed rest anyway. Yeah, man, he's definitely, out of all of our players, he is definitely right up there for some of the guys that needed rest. Not even just this season, even the Conte squeezed the hell out of every bit of juice that's left in him. And of course, he goes to play with Croatia as well. They squeeze every bit of juice out of him there. So no, that is true, and I think that's why they probably rested him, because you have to, as I said, you can't risk him for the rest of the season and miss him for one match rather than missing him for 2, 3, 4 matches. You have to think about it in that way. Yes, Mattia, you're a pessimist. Shout out to my boy Traore for that goal today. Yeah, another goal for Junior Hamed Traore. Hit that like button for our uncle and subscribe. Yes, sir. Thank you very much for that, Mattia. This is why Sensi should have been kept and locked up, injury-free in a padded cell. Yeah. I probably, it looks like now he has been fit, Sensi, which is I'm very happy to see. But yeah, probably in these positions right now, you probably are missing Sensi. But at the same time, would he have been fit to be playing? But at the same time, now he is proving that he is fit. So he's playing right now against Juventus as well, and he's been fit. Apart from one injury and then one match missed due to gastroenteritis or something like that. So he's missed a match and a half for them. But till now, he's actually proving to be, actually reliable. So which is good to see. But at the same time, it would have been useful to have him. Bremer will have his game of his life tomorrow. Hey, this guy's been having the game of his life. We can't say that with Bremer because he's actually been having the game of his life the whole season. As things stand, it really is for me. When I think about because I'm going to make my team of the season for Serie A. When it comes to Serie A MVP defender, last year it should have been Skriniar, but Romero won it, which I wasn't mad at. So this season I think it could be between Skriniar and Bremer. Honestly, Bremer has had a great season. Olimpico Grande Torino will have a more hostile atmosphere than Anfield, probably, yeah, especially if it was Anfield like it was last week. Can Vidal CDM? Yeah, Vidal can play there. Vidal is very adaptable. Vidal he's even played in the centre back positions. Like, he is over his career. He's played in a lot of positions, Vidal. But the issue is it's just that, do we trust him to pick the ball out there? There's a lot of times where Brozovic plays with the back, so the defenders are facing towards, Brozovic is facing towards them, so towards our goal. That's the difficult part when you're picking up the ball there and you're being pressed from behind, and they have Pobega, Mandragora, or Lukic, or Brekalo, one of these guys press the hell out of you. They're very aggressive, and the Juric is a very, probably one of, I think they are the highest pressing team. I think if you look at the stats, they actually are the team that engages in pressing actions more than any other team in the league. So this is, anyone that's going to step in is going to have a hard job, because you're going to have to pick up some balls, facing the other way, and sometimes you might pick it up, take a touch, and you're already, you might lose it because the guy's already on your back, or you might have to take a gamble and play one of those blind balls into our wing backs first time just to get rid of it. But it's the options are there, but I'm not actually sold. I'm not sold on any of the options. That's the issue. We got Big Lord Figo in the house, of course, always in here, always claiming his Scudetto. But let me go into the screenshots I have prepared for you guys here. So Torino, like they are very good defensive team. Like in terms of the goals they conceded, they're one of the best teams in Serie A. Where are they? They actually, let me go on the soccer stats, because they'll show us exactly where they rank in terms of how many goals they've conceded compared to other teams in Serie A. Let me share my screen with you. Torino statistics, here we are. So if we go down, look at that, Juric coming into Torino, big credit to Juric. He's improved their performance by 11 points. Really impressive coach. So let's go down to see how many goals they've conceded. So look at that, in defense, they're the fourth best defense in the league. Just 3 goals behind Juventus in terms of goals conceded. So they just barely concede a goal per game on average. So they are a very stingy team. And even better than Milan, better than Atalanta, better than Roma, better than Fiorentina, really right up there with the best. However, on the other hand, they do create chances, but they don't really take them. And you see how low they rank for goals. They're just barely, above a goal a game again. So they are pretty much like a 1-1 in terms of result, like a 1-1 team. Or I guess you could say they score 1, but they'll maybe give away 1 as well. And at home as well, they're better at home than they are away. But nothing. Yeah, they are like they're doing better at home. If they were just playing at home, they would be much higher in the table than they actually, or slightly higher in the table than they actually are, which they're just below Sassuolo. But you see there's a big gap actually between, they do have games in hand as well, between the top 10 and everyone else. But yeah, Juric has done some great work. So they are a very tricky team that we're facing tomorrow. Very tricky team. But for once, actually, we're not playing a team that's in form. Like recently, even like Salernitana that we played, they were actually in form. And Genoa, compared to them, they were in form compared to their usual form this season. But now, tomorrow, actually, we're playing a team that's not in great form. They haven't won for a while, and they're on a draw and loss streak at the moment. Draw, loss, draw. So it's probably a decent time actually for once to play this team. And then in general, we do struggle against Torino, but actually, the last 5 meetings we've beat them. Last time we lost against them was away to them, 1-0 over here in the I think this was back in the Spalletti era, wasn't it? It was 2018-19. But last season, we managed to get the better of them, but most of the time. But it always felt like a struggle. Like it's never felt like an easy match, apart from this 3-0 here when we were I think that was in the rain, and Barella got injured in that match, and it was like Lukaku and Lautaro scoring. But apart from that, they've always felt like a struggle, the matches against Torino, and especially this 2-1 here away at Torino last season. It was we needed Lautaro header in the last few minutes to win that match, and of course the last match we played against them, 1-0, only 1-0 at home. So overall, we have a good record against Torino recently, but they do give us a run for our money, which not surprising at all. Going back to the 1-0 victory at home, we created a lot of chances. So Torino will give you space in behind. That's we're talking about Bremer or whoever plays for them, whether it's GG at the back. Actually, let me pull up the what's it called? The predicted lineup to show you who might play. So whether it is, Gigi, Bremer, Rodriguez, or, the other, is it Itzo or Zima, any of the other centre backs, Buongiorno as well, good morning. Any of those guys, they will come and press. They will leave spaces in behind. And that's what we saw here. This was, if you guys remember, Bastoni when one of his runs off the ball. So this is one of the ways that we can catch him out, like, because they go for man pressing. So Juric comes from the school of Gasperini. He's a Gasperini protege. Man for man pressing, high pressing, following the man pretty much where he goes throughout all the pitch, very aggressive. But that means that the midfielders or the defenders have space to go in behind. So yeah, Bastoni here found some good space, but I think Bastoni was almost surprised that he found himself in such a good position, 1v1, and he kind of didn't really take advantage of it. But that was a good opportunity, and he could have even squared it to Dumfries possibly there. Dumfries obviously afterwards ends up scoring as well. But these kind of positions you can find with Torino because they press so high. The defensive line can be very high up, so spaces in behind once again are key. And yeah, this is Dumfries' goal. Once again, there's a 6v6 that's created, so Inter definitely need to be brave and try to outnumber this Torino team because they will sprint. They're a very fit team. They will sprint back and try to cover the spaces left in behind, but they can be caught on the counter attack for sure. Good finish here by Dumfries, by the way. Good goal, and that ended up being the winning goal. And yeah, here, this one was another great chance. You see, I think the screenshots is just kind of going out of shot. There you can see Lautaro all the way on the right hand side. This was a really nice assist from Hakan actually, which Lautaro wasted. But again, look where Bremer is. He's come high to press, but then Lautaro spun in behind, and Hakan found him with a very nice ball with the outside of his boot. And then Lautaro actually wastes this chance. He tries to go around the keeper and puts it wide, which was a great chance that he wasted. But again, these are the positions that you can find himself. And this is, again, when we're looking at Bremer, this is some of the weakness where he's so aggressive sometimes, so high up, so front foot that he can leave some space in behind. But of course, it's not just Bremer, as I said, like that's Torino style. Like they're told to go press like that. Like if he plays at Inter, he wouldn't be like our style of play isn't that aggressive at all, so it wouldn't be the same. But again, just keep an eye out for these like kind of moments like that. And yeah, here this is another chance where this is where Sanchez hits the post. This is where they weren't Bremer, you can see, is not pressing high there, but Dzeko actually you can create when it's these man v man pressing teams. You need someone to take a gamble sometimes. You need someone to beat players 1v1 so you can create those overloads. So Dzeko actually beats Lukic on the wing, on the left wing here, and then gives it to Sensi, a very rare Sensi outing here in the first half of the season under Inzaghi. Nice assist to Sanchez, who hits the post. So another good chance that we've created there. And this is where in the second half, maybe if he comes on, someone like Correa or Sanchez, if they come on, this is where they can create some havoc against them. And this is a picked out goal that Torino conceded recently against Cagliari. They lost at home against Cagliari, quite a bad loss for them. And so this is straight from a throw in. D'Alberto Carlos, the Inter legend there, taking the long throw in. And actually there, the guy marking, I think it's Grassi or Deola, I can't remember which one of the Cagliari players is who's made that incursion, that midfield run. But Bremer, the centre backs are not actually in the box. they're all man for man pressing, João Pedro and the other, danger man. They left this massive gap in the middle here, which Cagliari managed to exploit. And in the end, the right wing back of Cagliari manages to come in and slot in at the far post. So these are Torino, like, because they mark so closely, man-oriented pressing. These are the type of openings you can find. And yeah, going back to the goal, we needed a special moment from Sanchez. Like this is a beautiful ball from Sanchez into Lautaro last season, we can't compare Torino from last season, because last season's Torino were, defending deep, completely different style of play. But again, the players playing in the team is still the same players. So and this was a beautiful header by Lautaro, like very underrated Lautaro. I would put this goal in probably Lautaro top 5 goals, because that header on the back foot going backwards was one of the best headers I've seen in the in Intershare, like reminiscent of Crespo, Julio Cruz, and them man there. So yeah, those are kind of the things to look out for, and the weaknesses of Torino, which I hope Inter manage to take advantage of tomorrow. Let me get back into your comments. I'm mostly scared because I don't know where any goals are going to come from. Hopefully Lauti. That's becoming more of a pipe dream. I mean, now he scored 2 matches in a row, bro. He's not a pipe dream anymore. I mean, he scored hat trick, and now he scored away at Anfield. He's broken his streak, and we know that he's a streaky player. So maybe usually he can go 2 or 3 matches in a row once he goes on a streak to score. So hopefully he can continue the streak. Dzeko returned to scoring against Salernitana as well, and he was rested finally against Liverpool. So at least we should have a fully rested Dzeko, who had a full week off for once. Finally, Inzaghi resting Dzeko. Would have been useful to have a young French regista. Or are you talking about Maxime Lopez? Drinks on Uncle Shama tomorrow after the Inter match. Yeah, well, it depends on the result. Lord Figo. I'm not buying anyone any drinks if we lose or draw. What do you think would be the difference between the Torino game and the Sassuolo game? Inter is missing Broz in both. Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think Sassuolo, they actually kind of sat back a bit more than I expected and kind of really counterattacked us, which I thought they were going to try maybe take control of possession, but actually that was a smart thing to do, not give in to the possession and try to just kind of counterattack off the mistakes. But with what I've seen with Torino, they don't really have a different style. They only have one style of play, which is go high, press. So I can see potentially without Brozovic losing some balls when we're trying to build up from the back. So, and we saw that against Torino in the first match. We did have to go long towards Dzeko at times. So I can see us bypassing their midfield and try to bypass their press and just try to go long towards Brozovic, towards Dzeko and Perisic as well. Perisic is good in the air if he starts, or if it's Gosens if he starts, he's good in the air as well. So try to get Handanovic to float some balls either to the left-hand side or even to Dumfries as well. And that's a way to kind of try to counteract their press. And yeah, Torino did give us issues, even with Brozovic. Brozovic was there in the first match against Torino, and we still had issues playing out from the back because they do press you so much. So I want to remind people we did struggle against this Torino team even when Brozovic was there. Good things are that we won the last 5 against them. Yeah, exactly. And they are not in great form at the moment, Torino. So it is probably a okay time to play them. I mean, that doesn't even point at asking that type of question, Shrifty. Yeah, unfortunately, if he misses out on top 4, Inzaghi, it's probably going to have to be, as much as I like him and I love him, but missing out on top 4 in the position that you're right now, that's that's catastrophic. In terms, you're going to have to really fall off. That's a bad fall off in form, and that means that he's not able to handle the pressure. He's not able to keep the team on a high level. So that could be bye Inzaghi for me. Yeah. No Brozo means we go -5 from Milan. Vecino is in his place. Oh, come on, guys! All of this negativity now is like it's a little bit too much. Oh, you're talking about Agume, yeah. I mean, Agume, he needed his year out, his Erasmus year, so to say, back in France. Again, I don't think he's the answer to the problems, but of course it would be good to actually have a proper vice Brozovic like Agume, and hopefully maybe next season he's actually back in the team. Oh, I'm not even going to entertain you guys, you negative people in here. We're talking about Scudetto here. We're not talking about top 4 now. We're talking about Scudetto, guys. Let me get into the predicted lineups now. I'll show you the Torino ones once again. Lukic, Mandragora, and then Pobega plays like almost as a false, like he's playing as like an attacking midfielder, but he's really just there to cause havoc. So he's probably going to be the guy that's going to be man marking the defensive midfielder, whether it's Barella, whether it is whoever plays there. He's probably going to be the guy there, and he's a beast physically. He's great presser, very strong. He does not look Italian, like the size of him. He looks actually a lot like Skriniar. You guys, like when you see him, just a running style as well. It looks like Skriniar as well. It's funny. He looks like a long lost cousin of Skriniar, and he's probably going to be back in Milan next season as well. He's a good, Milan. They're not going to miss Kessie if Pobega and Tonali there. Brecolo's been a decent player for them. He's a lot more of a winger, creative player, and obviously Belotti's come back into the team now. It's taken him most of the season, and he's coming back into form. He's scored a couple of goals since he's come back, which is good for them, not good for us. Singo, of course, he was one of my options if we didn't get Dumfries. He's had a good season under Juric. Vojvoda, I think he's Albanian. He's decent, but apart from Bremer, their defense is definitely susceptible. Ricardo Rodriguez, this guy, Milan reject, good on the ball, but defensively very susceptible. Gigi is decent, and in goal they're actually missing the starting goalkeeper. So I hope we manage to take advantage of this, because Milinkovic-Savic is missing in goal. Berisha is stepping in. He's been a journeyman in Italy for a while. Decent goalkeeper, but of course he's not the starter. So hopefully we can take advantage of that. They're missing Dennis Praet, Leicester boy, and Fares as well. But apart from that, they seem to have a pretty full strength lineup. Now we go into why do they have Vecino in there out of all the options? And I said this, if you guys saw the Coppa Italia match, when we played Empoli, it was a Vecino, Gagliardini, and Vidal midfield. And out of the three, as I said, Vecino is the last one, because Vecino's best qualities are getting into the box. Like if it's out of all those three, he's the one who's got the juice in his legs. He's got those long legs. He's got that late box running ability. He gets in the box for headers. He's got decent, goal scoring ability as well from midfield. So he's wasted so deep anyway, because he hasn't really got the coolness and the footballing IQ, in my opinion, to play in that position. So Sky Sport is usually reliable, but I think they've got this wrong. I think if it's Vecino stepping in, I think he will play in a more advanced role, and I think it will be Barella playing in the regista position. And it looks like Perisic retains the starting spot. I think Gosens is still. I agree with Inzaghi not to risk him yet, but at the same time, also Perisic, he was rested last week. Matthew Doms came in quite well. But I think we do need a Perisic or Gosens against Singo. Singo is a very physical, athletic player to come up against. So I think it's not the match for Matty Doms to step in this one. I think we do need Perisic in this one or Gosens. Gosens, if he plays, it would be 50, 60 minutes max anyway. But hopefully, Gosens, they start to increase his minutes. Last match, I think, what did he have, like 25, 30 minutes? So maybe they give him another 25, 30 minutes in this one, if the scoreline allows. Dumfries, I mean, on the right-hand side, I wouldn't mind, because Dumfries is probably one that needs to be rotated now as well. He has looked a little bit tired recently, especially against Liverpool. He didn't really take on his man. He didn't really, he didn't look as energetic. He looks like he's a little bit gassed, a little bit, Dumfries. So I wouldn't be too much against resting Dumfries in this one, because on his side is Vojvoda, who is not the most. He's not like danger man on the left hand side. Dzeko Martinez up front. I think Dzeko was a complete given in terms of he was rested last time around, so there was no way that he wasn't going to start. But I wouldn't be against, of course, Martinez has scored 2 goals now, so he's going to start. But Martinez played the full match against Salernitana and played almost the full match against Liverpool, didn't he? And he had to play on his own for a little while when Sanchez was sent up front. So I wouldn't be against Sanchez. he's gonna have that, thing about proving himself once again. We've seen that Sanchez is always trying to prove either Inzaghi wrong or fans wrong, or this time, making up for his mistake against Liverpool that left us in 10 men. So I wouldn't be against starting Alexis in this one. Having a Alexis and Dzeko partnership up front, and then having Martinez come on or Correa come on in the second half. And that's the good thing with now, guys. We've got Correa is back, still not fully match fit, but he's back, ready to be thrown in if we need a goal in the second half. Gosens is now an option off the bench. So we do have those options now. We've got the full, and we've Felipe Caicedo. Don't forget about Caicedo, guys. He exists. I know he's only had 7 minutes for us, but he does exist, Felipe Caicedo. So we do have those options off the bench now. Of course, now we have Brozovic and De Vrij unavailable. At the back, of course, De Vrij is injured, so D'Ambrosio looks like he's stepping in, not Ranocchia, and Skriniar going in the middle of the three, which I think, I've always said this, I think Skriniar in the middle of the back three, that's the long-term position for Skriniar. I think that's where Skriniar is going to be post 29, 30 years of age. I think that's where Skriniar is going to be, and he's going to be just as good, if not even better, in that position. And I don't think it should be Ranocchia stepping in this game, because we need, I think Skriniar on Belotti is the better option rather than Ranocchia on Belotti. D'Ambrosio is going to be useful going forward and stuff like that, and hopefully maybe coming up with one of his clutch goals. Let me get into your comments. Where are we? And Mattia has no middle. He's either, we're losing top four, and now he's winning the domestic treble. Don't worry, bro, I got you with the positivity. We're gonna slap them. The real LM10 will score another hat-trick. Wow. I mean, I think we can win for sure, but I don't see it, Lautaro scoring a hat-trick. But if he does, Ahmad, I will send you one of my Inter shirts. You can screenshot or screen record this. If Lautaro scores a hat-trick tomorrow, I will send you one of my Inter shirts. You can pick whichever one you want. Any of them. Off topic, what do you think Satriano is the real deal? I've said from the beginning, in terms of the strikers that have come up in our Primavera recent years, he's the one that's kind of caught my eye the most. Physically, he's definitely ready. Like, physically, this guy is like already looking like, a 28-year-old. The size of his body and his legs, like he's ready for adult football. And he seems like he's got the sniff of the goal, like the eye for the goal. Like, naturally, he's got that. General play, he looks a bit clunky. Like when I've watched his highlights at Brest as well, he looks quite clunky. But to me, he looks like a serviceable player, like, for sure. But again, it always comes down to the fact that is Inzaghi willing to give him actual game time. That's always the problem. Barella, there's videos on Twitter I've posted of Barella playing Regista at Cagliari as well. Like, he played all over the place for Cagliari. So that's what I'm saying. I think people exaggerated the thing against Sassuolo, because Barella in general in this period was out of form. Remember, like, even in his own position, he was playing stinky matches. So going out of position in the Regista position, and he had a stinker there as well. But everyone had a stinker that match. And again, I don't think the goals conceded, was because Brozovic wasn't there, in my opinion. He has been pretty good on the Fantacalcio, Adriano Lukic. So, but I don't think against us he's going to complete many passes and stuff like that anyway. Juha is coming in with some match predictions already. 3-1 for us. 3-1 for White Suburban Kid as well. I don't really see that many goals in this game. Torino are a really stingy team. Yeah, that's a really good point, Mosab. If we manage to win this match away at Torino without Brozovic, with all this pressure added, with the Juve, are they still winning? I guess they still are. Juve winning. If Milan, let's see what Milan do. Let's see what Pinamonti can do. It's 3-1 at the moment. But the 80th. Oh, it's nice. The match is over. Yeah, Juve won. Let's see what Milan do in about an hour. if we win this game with everything, Juric with his style of play, that's going to be a massive boost going into the rest of the season. Of course, next we've got Fiorentina, which is not easy, but I really think this could be the catalyst now. This win would be much more massive than the Salernitana one. The Salernitana one was nice, Lautaro hat tricks, Dzeko, everyone coming back to form, that kind of stuff. Anfield away winning, but going out of the Champions League. But this Torino away, when the pressure is on, this would be, one of those matches where I look back and I say, yes, this Torino away game win, this was, the moment that I think we won the Scudetto, if we win the Scudetto. No Brozovic, no party. We'll see. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. You could call me delusional, but I think we'll be okay. I've always said, like, since the beginning of the season, no, I don't think, especially if you're saying that this Inter team is Scudetto worthy to you guys, you can't say that one guy missing then changes all that, because that means this is not a Scudetto worthy team if one guy missing changes that. You've seen Juventus, they're winning. The last week they had 9 players out. Juventus, imagine this Inter team with 9 players out, and not all of them were starters for Juventus, but still, imagine this team with 9 players out. The amount of injuries Milan have had this season as well. We've kind of been okay with injuries this season mostly. And I keep reminding people, we did Gagliardini was in the team for most of the season last year. Eriksen came in at some points. Vidal started a lot of games as well. So people forget, Eriksen was, he was in and out of the team. And there was a 3 or 4 month period towards the end where he came in. But it wasn't, Gagliardini played a lot of that season. We won the Scudetto with Gagliardini being, starting 30, playing 30 plus games. And Vidal last season wasn't even that good, and he played a lot of games as well. 0-2 win, Lautaro, and finally a corner goal. Yeah, good point from Filippo here. We haven't scored a goal, even though we're still, I think, top of the league in terms of goals scored from corners and set pieces or headed goals. We haven't scored one for a little while, so we are overdue. And Juventus actually scored a goal against Turino with a set piece with the Ligt. So even though they're quite a physical team and good in the air, I've seen that they can be a bit, the concentration is not great for some of their players. Empoli, Pinamonti, someone, Bayrami, Henderson, Zurkowski, one of these boys need to come through. The problem is now with teams like Empoli is they're getting towards the end of the season and they're safe. Empoli is pretty much safe already, which is, shouts out to Andrea Tolli, great work. But do they have the conviction and the confidence and the motivation to go away at San Siro and, try to get a result against the team that wants to win the Scudetto? That's always a tricky part. But they are a tricky team, Empoli. So I feel like they can get a draw. And I usually am quite negative with these teams. I always say oh yeah, I don't expect a favor from these teams, but usually it comes the other way around. So actually, I'm going to continue with the jinx. I'm going to say that Empoli are going to be thrash. Pinamonti is going to be, crap as usual. All that, I'm going to be negative about Empoli. They're not going to do any favors. Eduardo just came in. He says he's going to win 2-0. Everyone, it's always funny. The comments are always negative, in the build-up when I'm talking about the team. And then when we come to the match prediction, you're all super confident. It's always so funny. We talked about it, Nadim, if you missed it. Hakan, he can do this. He can do that. I think he could probably do this. But you can't throw him in the deep end in a match like this. He's just, this season adapting to the Mezzala role. As I talked about with Eriksen, we slowly moved him into the role. First in the Coppa Italia match against Fiorentina, then against Benevento. Slowly integrated him in that position. Didn't just throw him into the deep end. After a year being an Inter as well. And we've seen with Hakan, it's taken him a while in this already, coming from attacking midfielder to Mezzala. And he was playing left wing for Milan as well for a lot of the season last year, because they played 4-3-1 and he was playing, if Leao wasn't there, he was playing left wing. So you're talking about a big change for Hakan, although he does come deep and pick up possession a lot of times. But I think this Torino game would be a bit too far of a step to tie him out. But I think, he could, as we said, he's got the feet to play it. He's got probably the footballing IQ to play it for sure, but not for tomorrow, in my opinion. Yeah, Martinez is, this guy's goal-scoring form as much as he can. Yeah, Brozovic is officially out. He's not even part of the squad, bro. Fation is predicting 1-3 win. Nice. We're winning the treble, no doubt. Teams prepare well for us in set pieces. Yeah, but at the same time, recently, even against Liverpool, if you remember the first leg, Skriniar, like, we've had some good headers, but the margin with headers from corners is so small. Like, just a half a second early and it goes all the way back to the guy who took the corner, half a second too late and it goes for a throw into the other side. But I've seen Skriniar, De Vrij, like, they found themselves free in some positions. Perisic recently has been really good from set pieces on the far post. We saw that goal he scored against Milan, and he's had some similar opportunities in the last few matches, I remember, but it just hasn't quite dropped for us. Yeah, teams do prepare more for us now in set pieces because they know we're a big threat. And Hakan's foot hasn't been as hot on the set pieces recently as well. Like, we know him, corner man, whatever you want to call him, but his set pieces recently haven't been as hot as they were at the beginning of the season. Yeah, Cutrone, please do something if he plays. Yeah, Milan against the smaller teams have been stinky. Like, one thing you have to give Milan credit to, they are out of the top 5-6 teams. They have the best record against the big teams. I think they have a 2.1 points average this season, which is better than us by a long stretch. We have like 1.5 or something. But against the smaller teams is when they drop points. But, on paper, they should be able to take this game home. Yeah, exactly. We finally have options off the bench. As I mentioned, the cage line, Sanchez, who I'm confident that he'll be ready to make up for his mistake. And of course, Correa as well. And I think Correa, with his ability off the bench, I think he'll be able to cause some havoc in the second half for sure. Fawaz, I hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong. That is not an easy win for Milan. Hakan is way too many missed passes for my liking. Yeah, his form has been a little bit up and down over the last couple of months. Yeah, I don't think they're talking about long term. I think they're just talking about this match. Can they make it work? But I think for this match it wouldn't be the right move to throw him into the deep end. Bokar says 0-2 for Inter. 2 goals for Hakan. Damn. I definitely don't see that happening. This guy on open play he needs to kind of up his game a little bit. And yeah, as Matthias says, Hakan needs to improve a little bit. Pioli has the bottle job gene in title races. When has he ever been in the title race, bro, though? Like, I don't like these kind of generalizations. They talk about, Spalletti is a bottle job and Pioli is a bottle job. But when have they actually been in, like, proper title races? Like, they were in the title race last season, Milan. But at the same time, we know that our team is better than Milan, like, player for player. So them being where they are right now is already overachieving. So Pioli is already doing more than he needs to be doing. If Pioli wins this would be a historic Scudetto. Like, this young 25, 26 average age Milan team, built on a shoestring budget. Like, this would be a massive, massive achievement from Pioli. Like, I've stopped doubting this Milan team since last season, and I hate this. I hate being like so positive about them, but these guys just keep proving people wrong, and I've stopped doubting them. No more UCL. We have this, bro. Yeah, but the benefits of that will come in the next coming weeks. Like, when we start having games after 7 days, after we have a full week of rest and coaching time for Inzaghi, then they'll slowly come to fruition. The benefit. Right now, we played, on Tuesday. Now we're playing Sunday, so it's not too bad. But again, it was an intense match against Liverpool where we were in 10 man. So I wouldn't be surprised if the team is still not quite, full firing 100%. We have more difficult games than Milan. I don't know. We have Juventus, which they don't have. But I looked at we went through the fixture list. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that we have the harder fixture list. I think apart from Juventus, it's pretty similar. One team that all the 3 teams have, Napoli, Milan, and we have, is always Hellas Verona. and they called them in the Gazzetta today. I saw they called them the Kingmakers because they're the team that can affect the Scudetto run for all the teams apart from Juve. So Hellas Verona is one team that all three teams are going to have to face and could turn out to be very tricky. Oh my god, I'm losing. I honestly don't know when Ahmad is trolling or telling the truth, but yeah, if you're doubling down on this Lautaro hat trick, bro, as I said, you're getting one of my t-shirts. Skriniar will score a header. I hope so, bro. He's he started off the season on fire, Skriniar, with the goal scoring, and then he's just died down. So he's overdue one as well. Saud in the house says 2-1 Inter, hard fought but inspired win. Yeah, I'll take that. Hakan didn't score a free kick with us, didn't he? Yeah, he barely scored one with Milan as well, bro. Like, his free kick taking is very overhyped in terms of direct free kick taking, because he had a really good streak in Germany, but actually in Italy, I think he had like one that was like deflected and maybe one in Europa League, but it wasn't. Yeah, he didn't really have a good free kick scoring with Milan. 80 million Fridge scored own goal is 2-2 Spurs. Contable at his best. Yeah, well, good for them. Still think Milan is not ready. Yeah, they shouldn't be not ready. But again, in the big games, they've been better than all the other teams. As I said, 2.1 points average in the big games. They're just, if they get over this, the smaller teams block that they have, they're right there. But they shouldn't be on paper. They shouldn't be, I don't know. They don't have the fear factor. When you look at them on paper, you have bloody Salamakers, Junior Messias starting, these kind of guys starting. So on paper, they just don't. Yeah, I agree. They don't have fear factor. But how long can they continue? Like, how long do they have to continue on these streaks before, we give them the respect? Fiorentina, Juventus, Roma. Yeah, we have Fiorentina, Juventus, Roma. Yeah, true. But again, Roma, like, they have picked up form recently, but we've got like a 5-0 aggregate on them this season. Wow, brilliant. 0-10. Giroud has scored crucial goals again for them. Yeah, Giroud has propped up for them in big matches this season as well. So, like, what more do you want from these guys to prove you wrong? Right, so finishing up on my match predictions, and actually there was a question earlier, from I am Nate about Chelsea, so I'll get into that in a minute as well. I am Nate on the Chelsea stuff, but my match prediction, I think, we're gonna be 2-1 victory. 2-1 victory. I think they'll score from a set piece or something like that, like a not clean goal, like it'll be like Belotti on like the far post, just like someone switching off, Handanovic switching off on the far post or something like that. But yeah, I think Dzeko returning to scoring, and yes, as someone said, a corner or a set piece goal, either D'Ambrosio or Skriniar scoring. And I can predict, some sort of good impact from a substitute somewhere, like a Correa or a Gosens making a big impact, like Philip says here. And Lautaro hopefully continue to show up and should score goals. So I'm gonna go for a 2-1 victory. Not great performance, and without Brozovic as well, let's not forget. But I think I have faith in whoever steps in. If Vecino or Gagliardini play, I feel like they'll have a decent game. I'm gonna say they're gonna have like a 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10 game. No stinkers tomorrow. That's my prediction. But going back to the Chelsea stuff, guys. It's funny, and it's nice in a way that finally it's not Serie A or a Serie A team or us suffering. Like, of course, we suffered this past summer with the Suning stuff. But this is like next level. Like, they're literally, sanctioned on a different level. Like, not selling tickets, not selling merchandise. They don't even have their credit cards have been, stopped, so they can't even pay for fuel to travel to matches. So like, this is really big. But at the same time, calma, because this is in the middle of the season. There's not actually anything we can take advantage of yet, because the transfer window isn't open yet. and it looks like there's potential. There's buyers like lined up, ready to take it off Abramovich's hands. But at the moment, I think they're not even allowed to sell it. But if these, as soon as these sanctions are lifted, when or if they'll be able to sell it straight away. Like I've seen there's Saudis, there's like other Americans, there's loads of people are lined up. This is not Serie A. This Premier League. They're gonna bite it. Chelsea. Someone's gonna take it straight away. So if someone comes in, depending on who that owner is, those these benefits that we could be taking, they're gonna fly off in the sunset straight away. And I was tweeting about Kovacic yesterday. Of course, we talk about whoever you want, Kante, Reece James, whoever you wanna create the rumors for, which is interesting. And finally, we can actually look down on Chelsea fans. Like they were looking down on us when they wanted Hakimi and Lukaku in the summer. Now we can look down on them when they were talking down to us. But at the same time, let's see how the situation develops. But the one that's obviously to take a look out for is the Lukaku situation. The Lukaku situation is definitely one to keep a lookout for. We've seen the reports that, Inter will monitor it. Auxilio, our sporting director, even a few weeks ago made the joke that he would take Lukaku back on a loan. Of course, he said that as a joke, but of course, I think it would be truth as well. And I've made for me, is always, I've said from the beginning, as soon as we sold him, like if there's a potential to get this guy back on a loan or some sort of, beneficial amount of money, bring the boy back. And as the Telegraph here says, reasonably reliable source, the Telegraph, there's fears that the West London club could financially implode following the restrictions on Abramovich, blah, blah, blah. Many fears, of course, are fearing the future, as they would. Salary payments are uncertain. Chelsea unable to bring in funding and facing a monthly wage bill of 28 million and cash reserves of just 17 million. So that is, an issue for sure. Lawyers have been evaluating the working rights of the players. And, if they miss any payments, it could be likely that players take action. They could win any potential legal case. And if they choose from break their contracts. And of course, Inter have shown interest in Lukaku. And of course, we know Lukaku would be, he would walk to Milan if the opportunity arises to come back. So yeah, that's definitely one to keep on the lookout for, those kind of situations. And yeah, PAF. I wouldn't be surprised if PAF, all those PAF to Inter guys, suddenly change the tune and go to PAF to Chelsea. And I wouldn't blame them. If I was PAF, I would go to buy Chelsea, no Inter. And of course, as long as Lukaku is there, he's going to be obviously constantly linked to Inter. And it won't stop the idiots spreading the same rumors as long as the rumors are there. Of course, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantees in football, Ahmed, about Lukaku being the same guy that we brought him back, and especially with Pintus is not there. Pintus is not at our club anymore. The fitness trainer, unfortunately, and of course Conte is not here. But we're talking about if he's available on some sort of loan or a cut price deal, a guy that already knows our system, the 3-5-2. Like, I know we've changed from Conte, but it's not too far removed from what we used to play on the Conte. If he can get himself back in shape, and in Serie A, we've seen like the level of Serie A is still pretty low, guys. Like, he can still bully Serie A defenses. And I've always said, I don't want Lukaku. I think Lukaku is one of those guys that I don't think he will age well. Like, if you can get the best out of Lukaku right now between the age of 28 and 30, 31, when he still has, the physicality in terms of strength, but also the pace at this age, that this is the time to make use of him at best. So if you can try bring him as soon as you can, then the longer time goes on, I honestly don't really want Lukaku back. Like, I want him right now when he's at his peak of his athletic powers. But of course, there's also rumors that he's willing to cut his wage to come back to Inter as well, which is he's gonna have to. We can't match the wage that he's on at Chelsea. And then one thing, Mossab, I wanted to bring up, and thank you for bringing it up as well. Don't throw, what's the saying about throwing people throwing stones from glass houses or something like that. This, don't be hypocrites. Like, this could come back to bite us soon. Like, if China invades, Taiwan, which is, similar situation to Ukraine. China, could annihilate Taiwan. And if if Europe and Italy, all these countries start to sanction China, that could happen to us, and we could find ourselves in that situation as well. So, as I said, it's nice to not be the in that situation for once and being kind of looking down on Chelsea fans and making fun of them for once, but also keep in mind that this could end up happening at us to us at some point. So, yeah. If it came down to choosing between Romelu and Scamacca, would you really choose Lukaku over Gianluca? Which actually he scored today. Scamacca, another nice goal. It depends, as I said. If it's talking about like if we have to buy Lukaku again on then no. But if it's like a loan, in this financial situation that we are right now, and we're able to kind of get some sort of cut price deal for Lukaku, then it's still Lukaku over Gianluca for me. He's still potentially still that world-class player that the Serie A MVP. Let's not forget he was Serie A MVP. But at the same time, I don't want to lose out on Scamacca, because then I don't want to see Scamacca go to Juventus or Milan. I definitely don't want to see that happening for sure. But then you're talking about you're reviving potentially Lautaro. We know that Lautaro and Lukaku, that partnership, you're able to revive Lukaku straight away. Like, how do we know that that Scamacca and Lautaro can work as a partnership? We don't know that yet, but we know that Lukaku and Lautaro can work as a partnership. We know that Lukaku is a nightmare for Serie A defenders, and we know that we've seen that when teams are pressing us high now, if we have someone like Lukaku going in behind, it's going to be trouble for these teams. But if you ask me, as a company man thinking about long-term future, wage structure, future thinking, Italian future as well, young Italian, then I say Scamacca. But if you're thinking about right now, thinking, next season, just like I'm thinking about just next season, what's the best just for next season? Then I'm saying Lukaku. But if I'm thinking about long-term, then Scamacca. CR7 insane hat trick. Oh, this guy, man, he saw Messi struggling, and he had to come up trumps. But yeah, it's been an hour, guys. As always, I was expecting half an hour, 40-minute stream, but actually ended up being an hour. Hope you guys enjoyed, and always a pleasure. Thank you, Mattia, for coming through. Thank you, King Darian. Thank you, Tari. Thank you, I am Nate. Thank you, Eduardo. Everyone that came through, Victor, Bader, all of these guys that always come through, my loyal guys. Yeah, these Brozo-Less nights are tough to watch, but they're so rare. We'll see. No worries, I am Nate. Thank you for supporting the channel as a channel member. And you guys know, if you guys know me personally or on Twitter, you guys know Kovacic is one of my favorite footballers in general. Like, it hurt me so much when Kovacic left Inter. So out of all the Chelsea guys, Kovacic is the guy for me that you bring back. Like, I'll instantly buy a Kovacic t-shirt, the Kovacic shirt, if he comes back. But we'll see if I don't even see any links to him. Cartel with House, this guy used to be one of the regulars. I hardly ever see him these days, but what's good, bro? Yeah, Kovacic would be a great signing. And yes, thank you, Chris, for coming through as well, as always. And yeah, guys, tomorrow, see you for the post-match reaction, 7:45 UK time kickoff. So I'll see you around 10 o'clock UK time for the post-match reaction. Hopefully it's positive. Hopefully we're back top of the league. Hopefully Empoli. Oh yeah, guys, quickly, one more homework for you guys before I go. Keep in the AC Milan match, watch out for this boy, Christian Aslani. Some people actually pointed him out when we played Empoli in the Coppa Italia match, quite rightly. So shouts out to the guys that pointed him out in that match as well. But because Empoli sold Ricci, this guy stepped into the regista position. A young Albanian player. He's impressed me. I watched him against Juventus. I watched him in some other matches. Very technical, great passing ability, good off the ball as well. Very young. I think he's only like 2021. But yeah, this Empoli team just 20 years old actually. Albania under 21. this Empoli team just keeps churning out talent. So keep a lookout for him in the regista position at against Milan. And apparently Inter have been linked with him, which is nice to see. Potential, future vice Brozovic. So yeah, one more homework for you guys. So homework tomorrow, Bremer, and today, of course, if you want to look at, if you want to look at Pina Power, but whatever, I'm not looking out for him. But yeah, Christian Aslani, look out for him. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Ciao ragazzi, always Forza Inter. Second star mission continues, and yeah, it will be completed by the end of the season. I'm confident. Ciao ragazzi, Forza Inter.